All right, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning on a gorgeous day? The sun is shining. We're here today at the dedication of bridge number 31? 36, which will now be known as Staff Sgt. Karol Raymond Bauer Bridge. So welcome, everybody. I'd like to present the All Detachment Marine Corps Honor Guard. Thank you for coming, guys. If we could, I'd like everybody to stand for just a moment of silence for someone in our community. If you're in the veteran community, Joe Hogan passed away last week. Joe was a Vietnam Marine, very, very strong advocate for all of us, instrumental in bringing the Veteran Cemetery to Washington's Crossing and helping get some legislation and get people involved in the fight with Agent Orange that you all deal with. So if we could all take a minute and think of Joe. Thank you. Joe was put to rest today at Washington's Crossing about an hour and a half ago, so I'm sure he's with us in spirit, watching over us. I'd like to introduce Matt Allen, Director of Veterans Affairs for Bucks County. Matt?
Thank you. Today, we honor Staff Sergeant Karol Bauer, United States Marine, who gave his all in the service of our great country during the Vietnam War. Staff Sergeant Bauer made the ultimate sacrifice for the cause of freedom and in the defense of our cherished values. The Vietnam War was a hectic and challenging period in our history. It was a time when our nation called upon its young men and women to serve in a faraway land, facing danger and hardship on a scale that many of us can hardly imagine. Those heroes answered the call without hesitation, and Staff Sergeant Bauer enlisted on his own. There are 58,220 names etched on the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C., with 136 being from Bucks County. This reminds us of the heavy toll that this conflict exacted. Each of those names represents a life lived, a dream unrealized, and families forever changed. We remember Staff Sergeant Karol Bauer today, and will continue to remember him now through the dedication of this bridge. We remember you, Staff Sergeant Bauer, for not only how you died, but how you lived. We commit ourselves to ensuring that your memory lives on. We pledge to tell your story, to pass on your legacy, and to remind future generations of the sacrifices made to protect the freedoms we hold dear. To the Bauer family, we extend our deepest gratitude and sympathy. Staff Sergeant Bauer, you may be gone, but your spirit endures in the ideals you fought for. You will be a part of our nation's history. As we dedicate this bridge, let us dedicate ourselves to upholding the values that Staff Sergeant Bauer died defending: freedom, justice, and their pursuit of a better world for all. Your sacrifice inspires us to tirelessly for a more peaceful world. Staff Sergeant Bauer, may your memory now continue to live on through this dedication. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. They were very powerful words. That was nice. The whole point, as we've always said, let him live on, his memory live on. But, his spirit lives on as well. This bridge will bring that spirit alive. New Hope is a thriving community. A lot of people come through here visiting. A lot of people live here daily. So this bridge gets a lot of traffic. And now, Staff Sergeant Bauer will truly be remembered. These people will see his name. Someone's going to Google him. Someone's going to do it, and they're going to see who he was. A 10-year veteran of the Marine Corps, killed in action, and learn his story, and have a little more respect for him, and pass his name along. So that's what we like. I'd like to introduce Mac Wagner, Director of Military Affairs and Veterans Advocate for Brian Fitzpatrick's office.
Good Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mac Wagner. I work for Congressman Fitzpatrick as one of his military and veterans advocates. I apologize that the Congressman was unable to be here today, but it's my honor to be here in his stead to honor Staff Sgt. Bauer's sacrifice for our country and our community. In honor of this bridge renaming, Congressman Fitzpatrick had a flag flown over the United States Capitol that I'd like to present to you, sir, if I may.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mac. The bridge, here it is in all its glory. Once again, this is a bridge I ride my bike over all the time, so that's really awesome. I get to see his name all the time. I'm on this bridge probably twice a week. Sergeant Bauer was a Marine, but before he was a Marine, he served in the U.S. National Guard Army. He was a career soldier, Marine, was on a deployment in country fighting for a hill, just another hill. It was a hill that took 3 days to take. They're unclear of when he was killed, but they look like he was killed probably in the first day of trying to take the hill. His company fought to go back to get him, to bring him home. He wasn't left there, he was brought home. He's buried not that far from here, actually. His family lived down the street near Thompson Mill. He's buried on Aquetong at the Thompson Mill Church. So he's definitely a hometown man, hometown hero here. This bridge will help bring him home and stay here forever. We've been in touch with his daughter. She wanted to be here, but she could not. Luckily, his brother Walter has made it here. She had sent me a picture that we'd never seen before of the staff sergeant. I brought one with me. Nobody will be able to see it, but I'll bring it by. I'm going to give this to his brother. I don't know if he has it either, but it's a lovely picture of him. Apparently it was taken in December, right before he deployed. So with that, I'd like to get some help from Mayor Keller, please. Matt, if you could grab one end of that. Let's look at Sergeant Bauer's new bridge. Awesome. This is our 6th dedication with the county, and the partners we have with the county make it absolutely incredible to be able to do these and to meet people. One of the things we get to do is meet these families. And when you talk to a Gold Star family, you learn about the man, not the sign, not the face, the picture. You learn about him as a dad, as a brother, sometimes as a son, a nephew, and you can learn what could have been, the legacy that did not take place for him. He loved farming, he loved riding a motorcycle, apparently he loved horseback riding. Things that we all do that we take for granted sometimes. We know that as a career military guy, you have aspirations and your goals are a little bit different than some of our civilians. And when it's taken away, it's taken away, whether you're a civilian or in the military. But a military man knows that may be his end. When we stand here looking, we have Marines, sailors, I don't know if there's any Air Force. We see veterans from all the wars that are here, paying tribute to one of their brothers. And that's a camaraderie and a brotherhood that goes on forever in both lifetimes, here and on the other side. So, Staff Sergeant Karol Bauer, you are remembered, my friend, and it's been a pleasure to get to know you. I'd like to introduce Bucks County Commissioner Diane Morseglia.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here with all of you today. And every time we do one of these bridges, I have a different feeling that comes up. Today, I guess the feeling I've been having was healing. And I looked it up in the dictionary. And according to Webster's, healing is to restore one to full health. Now, from a metaphysical perspective, it's also a transfer of energy. And as in a psychological sense, healing is when one person talks about their pain to another person. So I think that is exactly what is happening on this bridge today. Having been a part of several of these dedications, I've also had the honor to talk to, meet, or email with some of the family. And I've watched as they have been able to take this process as part of their healing. Some have shared with me that this has given them a sense of a peaceful closure because finally their loved one is remembered, and this dedication makes that happen in a permanent sense. Others have wept because they did not finish mourning the loss of their loved one or their youth from that time. And still others have said that just gathering with other people who care about veterans who were lost has been healing for them. It's really a pretty beautiful concept that we are naming bridges, because bridges carry people over, and it isn't lost to me that we are carrying those memories over into a more permanent state. It's also not lost to me that we are in New Hope, a place of hope. So it is my hope that this bridge will also provide healing for many. I hope that it will provide healing for a brother who I am sure still misses his brother every day. And I hope that it provides healing for a daughter who I am sure searches for memories she wishes she had. And healing for a family that watched this young boy grow up and dedicate himself to this country and now watch from another side to see that there is closure. And for a county who has lost citizens in battle, and we hurt and we miss them, and we want to show that we will be with them forever through the art of these bridges. I also want to say that I have said at other events like this that we need to do something to remember that veteran. And I did not know this about Staff Sgt. Bauer, that he sometimes rode horses, but I happen to be going to ride a horse today, and I am doing it for him. Thank you.
How are you?
Thank you, Diane. I'd like to introduce the mayor of New Hope, Mr. Larry Keller.
So I'm going to start off by just welcoming everyone, especially the veterans coming here to celebrate and to honor this man. It's Sergeant Bauer, and welcome to our lovely community. We have a perfect day for everyone today, and I just want to start off with thanking the commissioners for getting this bridge done, because this is a major artery for us, for Village 2 and Kingswood. Everybody comes through here when they're trying to cut off the main street, and so thank you very much for getting this done in a timely fashion, Diane. Next, I just want to say that I was talking to Chief before this ceremony started, and he said that they thought that Sergeant Bauer's older brother was going to come here as 91, and a car pulled up, and this guy jumped out of the car, and I said, well, that must be the driver. And then all of a sudden, I walked over there, and he identified himself as Sergeant Bauer's older brother, Walter. So, Walter, thank you very much for coming today to honor your brother. And next thing I was going to talk about was just knowing the family. I don't know a lot about the background, but somewhere I had read that maybe on the mother's side of Sergeant Bauer's was a woman by the name of Hannah Beaumont Rossiter. And when I saw that, it just piqued my interest, because many of you may not be aware of it, but the Beaumonts have been here since the Revolution. Since I think John Addison Beaumont, as a matter of fact, right across the creek is his house. You'll see a Georgian house right across from the Logan Inn, and that's where John Addison Beaumont lived. And he sold part of his property to Benjamin Parry, and we have our Historical Society building, the Parry Mansion, and that was sold by a Beaumont to Parry. So there's a lot of lineage here going in right through the line. There was Andrew Jackson Beaumont, and then there was Charles Beaumont. But they were, I believe, at least that time, they were Quaker, because some of them were in Brownsburg, born in Brownsburg, which is a couple miles south of here, and other ones were out in Wrightstown, and that's where I saw that Sergeant Bauer was in Wrightstown, and his daughter was, I think, 18 months old at the time. So there's a lot of history here, and it's really nice for me to see the lineage that he goes back with the Beaumont family, because they've been here for the last couple of 100 years. So I guess on my part, the one thing I do want to say, because it's such a wonderful thing to have this, and Eddie's right, it's going to get a lot of visibility here, because this on Saturday and Sunday, everybody that doesn't want to be parked a half mile each way trying to get into New Hope, they take these little shortcuts and come through here. And so I'm glad to see the bridge is open, but best of all, I think it's really nice that we're going to honor someone from the Vietnam War that was killed in action, and was a local guy, and I just think it's wonderful. And I go through here more than you, Ed. You're twice a week. I'm probably about 20 times a week, because the police station's up there, and I live right on Ferry Street. So I'm going to be joyfully seeing both of these signs and seeing your brother being honored. So thank you very much, and thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor. The healing process is part of this dedication, as Diane pointed out. It's a healing process for family, friends, and it can be overwhelming. But the healing process can start right here, and we hope that it does. And we hope that for some of his brothers, it also brings a calming, knowing that they are still alive in spirit with us. And that all goes to the whole process of what we do and why we do it. Everybody has an open door. If we can close a door for somebody, keep that genie that some veterans have to keep bottled up in check, and this does that, then we've really done a good thing. And a bridge in honor of Sergeant Bauer is that thing. We hope that the family has been able to see something good out of this, and has been able to maybe think of a memory that they haven't thought of in a while. That one time playing ball out in the yard, or good times before it went bad in Vietnam. So we hope that is definitely part of our process here. I'd like to introduce County Commissioner Bob Harvey.
Thank you, Ed. I want to thank Ed, in addition, make sure recognizing him for all his efforts. He really has been a driving force behind this program that we have partnered with him on for well over a year now in terms of naming bridges. So thank you, Ed, for all the work that you've been doing in this. Thank you. Also want to thank the Color Guard Marine Corps League. Thank you very much for being here, honoring one of your own. Warriors Watch, thank you for being here. You've been at all these as well. So we really appreciate your presence as a way to honor your Staff Sergeant Bauer. At the height of American involvement in Vietnam, a little under 600,000 men and women of the United States military were serving in country. Over the course of the approximately 16 years where American forces were in Vietnam in some way, shape, or form, from the late 50s to the mid-70s, over 1 million men and women from this country served in Vietnam. Every one of them has a story. Every single one. And every story has its place in their memory, but also, in the memory of this nation. Like many, if not most or all of you, I grew up with veterans in my family. Great uncles who served in World War II, an uncle in Korea, 2 in Vietnam, father who served in between Korea and Vietnam. And maybe like most of you, I didn't always ask the questions. I didn't ask about their story. And there's a sadness to that. that those stories don't always get told. They don't get passed down. And then when that person passes away, that story's gone oftentimes. I'm proud that we are here today to be able to keep Staff Sergeant Bauer's story alive, to make sure that we are going to continue to tell it, that we're going to continue to pique the interest of people who want to know a little bit about who this gentleman was, what he did. And as we get further away from the Vietnam War, to make sure people understand what that war was about and appreciate all the men and women who served in it. We know the history of that war too well, and the treatment of those veterans when they came back. And I'd like to think that the presence of all of you here today, the Warriors Watch, the Honor Guard, Ed, in the county, is a way of our country making amends for the treatment they should have gotten when they came home. And for Staff Sergeant Bauer, obviously, and others, the over 58,000 who didn't get a chance to come home. You know, this is our chance to tell their story and to say, finally, welcome home. Thank you.
Staff Sergeant Karol Raymond Bauer Bridge is now open. That'll conclude our ceremony for today. This will be the last one we do this year. We're going to put together a list for next year. Hopefully we'll get another 7 or 8 in. So we look forward to seeing you all at the beginning of next year. And thank you all for coming. And if you're going on your motorcycle ride today, take Ray with you. Welcome home, my friends. Thank you.